Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Total Hockey Now here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. And like I said in a post earlier today, 2 weeks left the NHL regular season. 2 weeks left in the NHL regular season and the playoffs. Only 2 weeks and 2 days beyond 2 days beyond that. And we're here with you for all of it here at Total Hockey Now. That over there is Fuzzy Chris 91. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. And I left the Sharks for dead last week. I was a little presumptuous on that, I believe, like many others, because 3 in a row. By the way, first time in NHL history, a team has won 3 straight games with the game-winning goal coming with less than 90 seconds to go in regulation. That is fantastic.
I think they took it personally. Listen, I'm not going to say that, Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini listen to this show regularly, but maybe they heard what you said and they're like, you know what? We're going to show him. We're going to show him. Macklin's like, you know what? I got this.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, everybody was like, right before that Columbus game, and I was at the Philly game at home on March 21st where they just had a goal and they just did not look good against Philly. And I know Philly's a slow you down, grind your team. It was just like, all right, their run has ended, but they come back with that game against Columbus. They rally. I was at the St. Louis game on Monday night. Get the game-tying goal and the game-winning goal, with not a ton of time left. And then last night, everybody saw on national TV what happened against the Ducks. So, I'll be at 2 of the games next week. Very excited. We'll talk more Sharks later. They are playing the Leafs tonight. They are also going to be discussed in our future segment here. We've got our old buddy Marek here, so things are settling in nicely once we know Marek's here. Also, we got Anthony Manzano, 3551. How we doing? Cute dog in the photo there. I had leftover wings for lunch, so I mean, the Thursday afternoon for me right now, and with this, we're off to a great start.
I mean, you had wings, and I mean, it's a fantastic day. Ant's got a dog. I mean, what more could you want? Maybe all our picks to hit, right? That would be generational as well. That would complete the day, I think, for us.
And also, I know he hasn't been here, and let me count up the weeks here. Our buddy at Ant Rivera 86, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be his 6th week off, but there won't be a 7th. He'll be back next week. So exciting news. Check out his work over at Subway to Shea. We'll have Tony Rivers with his totals back here next week, just in time for fantasy hockey championships and betting. But speaking of fantasy there, before we get to our picks a little bit later on today, usually say 5:35. We're probably closer to 5:30. It's 14 games. It's a big meatball to cut through there. 14 gamer tonight. First thing I want to do, though, let's talk a little fantasy focus here and some fantasy ads of the weekend. And here's the thing. When you're looking for weekend ads, you're looking for teams that are playing Friday, Sunday. So that way you can because you're going to have plenty of guys going on Saturday. You're probably going to have to bench people you don't want to bench on Saturday. So first up, Philadelphia Flyers are one of those teams that have a Friday, Sunday slate. And let's get that up on the screen so you can see our beautiful faces there. Here's a couple of recommendations you can have there. Left wing, right wing eligibility for Owen Tippett, who's really come on over here his last 13 games, 8 goals, 4 assists. He gives you shots on goals. He gives you hits. He gives you shorthanded points. He's 56% owned. So, if you're looking for that push for a guy that can play either wing, you could do worse.
No, he's got a lot of eligibility. He was on some of my fantasy teams for long stretches. You said it right there. He is one of the hottest shooters, I would say. And sometimes that total, like the shot total, is not there. It can be erratic, but I mean, it doesn't matter if you find the back of the net, right? If you have 8 goals in 13 games, I don't care how many shots you're taking. Like, we'll figure that out later. The points are there. I guess the Flyers still think they have something to play for. So I expect a lot of Owen Tippett down the stretch here.
Also, our buddy Craig checking in. Sup, Craig? Good to have you here as well. Got a lot of the regulars here today, so it's always nice for a 14-game Thursday. Another forward to look at, Noah Cates at center. Face-off wins, hits. He's got 8 points in his last 9 games, 14% owned. We're talking under 60% ownership. We're talking about people that are realistically out there that plug in and maybe tilt the category. At this stage of the week in fantasy, you're not going to make a surge and take a category that you're trailing by, let's say, 10 in or something like that. Maybe face-offs, if you really push forward or hits. But you know what categories you're licked in. You know which ones you want to lock, you want to pad your lead. You know which ones you can make up ground. That's what these ads are late in the weekend. Try and, tilt the scales a little bit. And Travis Sanheim finally on the line, 35% owned. 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 8 games, but you're picking him up for his blocks. So there you go. 3 flyers that might be able to help you this weekend.
Oh, those are great flyer additions at this point of the year. And yes, you're trying to win certain categories at certain points. Your team is basically made up. You know exactly what your team is good at doing and what they're not as good as doing. So you may be trying to chase a couple of categories here and there that you desperately need to win. And listen, sometimes you will. Other times you may come up one category short. I may or may not be speaking from experience of falling one category short to a certain individual who did beat me in our Total Hockey Now league. I may or may not be, but I fell short, and it is what it is.
Kates or Mishkov? I would probably take Kates, right? Until Mishkov gets going consistently again. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if Tippett's out there, that's the wing you want from the Flyers. But if you're pretty much set at center and you don't have the space, you could take a flyer on, pardon the pun, take a flyer on Mishkov there. They do. So they play tonight against the Red Wings at home. We'll get to that in a minute, but they're at the Islanders on Friday and versus home for the Bruins on Sunday. So not easy matchups there in either instance. The other team we're looking at here is the St. Louis Blues. More options here to go with than maybe the Flyers would provide there. And you see him up on the screen looking at Jordan Kyrou, who is somebody that was drafted probably within the first 8-9 rounds in most leagues and then got cut at some points this year. But playing better lately. He'll get you shots on goals, power play points. He's got 5 points in his last 5, 52% owned. If you're looking for a hotter option than that, and I'm talking on the ice, not necessarily, by hotornot.com standards. Jimmy Snuggerud, 7 goals, 8 assists in his last 14 games. He's on the top line. He's on the power play 1 unit, and he's 42% owned. So between those two, I'd go Snuggerud, but, Kyrou, again, maybe the Kyrou we thought we were drafting, maybe he closes the last, handful of games of the year that way. Those are some right wing options.
Those Jimmy Snuggerud, that's the guy who stands out for me for sure. In fantasy hockey, you're looking for opportunity, right? That's what you want. So yes, the goals, the assists have been there. That's great. It's the top line. It's the power play 1 for me. That's where the opportunity, where it's going to, separate yourself. Pavel Buchnevich has triple position eligibility. We always like those guys. Jordan Kyrou, I guess, is one of those players that, if you need it, fine. But to me, the one that no question stands out here is Jimmy Snuggerud. Just the sheer volume that he can get right now is critical. So I expect Craig to go pick him up. That's who I lost to, in case anybody was confused. Maybe your first time here. Silver Fox got the best of me, and I take my L's and I move on.
That is what the Silver Fox does. He is nobody to sleep on, and he's one of the better players in our league. Now, Pavel Buchnevich, I threw up there because he's got the triple position eligibility, so he gets you some shots on goals. He's not a huge face-off guy, but he's been get you 6 to 7 a night, so that's not nothing. So again, with that, triple position eligibility, if you're trying to catch up on face-offs, maybe you sneak a guy in on the left or right side. That'll win you some. On the blue line, Colton Parayko, he'll get you blocks and hits at 41% owned. Philip Broberg is getting a chance to really shine down the stretch here and be the Blues' #1 defenseman. He's on the power play 1 unit, top pairing. He's got 3 goals and 6 assists since March 1st. He also gets you some blocks and is 23% owned. I picked him up in one league that I'm still in, and I've been happy with the results so far.
I'm in one league. This is a points total for the whole year with some of the friends that I have. So I'm just trying to hold on to second. Unfortunately for me this year, there will be no championships in my repertoire. And it's not because I haven't tried. It's just some of you are getting better. Like I'm glad that you guys listen. That's good. but it's making my job harder.
It's the compete level's gone up across the board. I'm probably going to make the finals in 1, 2, maybe 3 leagues. One league. Unfortunately, the FSGA league, we're both in. Victoria from ESPN had a monster week already. So and I also forgot to swap Nedeljkovic and Askarov last night, so that cost me 12 points. So I thought about picking up Will Smith and dropping Lafreniere last week, getting Will Smith back on that team, and I didn't. He's been on a tear lately, so I don't think it's in the cards for me there. I think I'll be a bridesmaid in that league again. But let's talk some futures before we get to our picks coming up here in about 15, 20 minutes. First one I want to discuss here is the Atlantic Division. We're doing a little futures 4-pack here. If you're looking to bet one of these teams here, the Bruins, as hot as they've been lately, it's not impossible for them. And if you think they can close strong here, that's, at 350 to 1. Why not throw a little pizza money on that? It's probably going to be Tampa or Buffalo. Buffalo can clinch a spot tonight. Do you have any thoughts on Montreal potentially here stealing the division, or do you think they're locked into being a 2 or less team?
Man, it would be great if they don't have to face Tampa Bay or Buffalo. I just think that the path to get there is a grind, right? They did come away against Tampa Bay. I thought that was a good game for them. It was a good response there. They're 7-3, right? They've rattled off 6 in a row. The problem is the teams in front of them don't lose either, right? So Tampa Bay 6-2-2, the Buffalo 6-2-2 in their last 8. Like you're jockeying for as much as you can get. I will say this, at 13 to 1 though, there's enough value there for me to like it. They have one game in hand on the Buffalo Sabres. The problem is Montreal does not have the tiebreaker in any of these situations because no team loves to go to overtime more than Montreal Canadiens. Whether they win or lose doesn't matter. They enjoy extra fun. So if it does get tied, they're unfortunately not going to get it. They are 4 points back to the Buffalo Sabres heading into tonight's action. So they have some games. I don't think they're too far. So I think 13 to 1 is just too far of an odd. The pizza money you were talking about, that's where I would put it. I think there's enough value there to take it.
Here's where I think it might be a temptation, but ultimately doesn't pan out because you got games coming up against the Rangers, a home and home against the Devils and the Panthers. Okay, great. That's 4 games you could potentially win or at least get a point out of. Out of those 4 games, let's say you get 7 out of 8 points, starting to make up ground. But then you're home for Tampa, home for Columbus, who's going to be playing for their lives. The Islanders are going to be playing for their lives. And you close at Philly, which maybe Philly's all done by then, and maybe that's a gimme too. But I think they'll close the ground and then they'll lose it. I still think this is Tampa or Buffalo's division. But, the only reason I'm saying Boston is because Boston looks really good. They're see how that,
they're 7-1-2. Again, they're doing their part. It's just the
too much
top
ground.
of that Atlantic just refuses to lose.
Looking at Tampa's schedule down the stretch, a home for Pittsburgh and Boston, then a 4-game road trip at Buffalo, Ottawa, Montreal, Boston, then home for the Red Wings and Rangers. So they've got some tough sledding ahead, but at least we'll get a little break there at the end. Buffalo, their remaining schedule starts tonight at Ottawa, then at Washington, home for the Lightning, at the Rangers, home for the Blue Jackets. Geez, alternating. At the Blackhawks, and then close against the Stars. So that's the other thing. They do have some tough schedules down the stretch. So maybe Montreal can make up some ground there. Just looking at Boston just for the sake of being complete here. At Florida tonight, then at Tampa, at Philly, at Carolina versus Tampa, at Columbus versus the Devils. So that's but yeah, maybe you're right. That pizza money should shift to the Canadians. They have the better chance at the 13 to 1 somehow coming home there. So something to keep an eye on.
It's good value. Whether it hits or not is neither here nor there. But 13 to 1 when all these schedules, all these teams, there's still some 4-point matchups here. Maybe. But at some point, listen, I like to be a realist. At some point, the Montreal Canadiens have to lose, right? You can't just keep winning. And the Sabres have come back down to earth a little bit here. They're reminding everybody that they're not superhuman. They're just regular.
I will say one guy that has been playing really well for them over the last, month and a half is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. We'll talk more about, we'll get into those numbers in a little bit, but he's been very strong lately. Next one I want to get into is the Hart Trophy. And here's the thing. I try to make these graphics the day before to save some time day of. I had to update this one because Backlund Celebrini. Now this is the current odds. Nate McKinnon -160 for the Hart. Kucherov +175. Celebrini 10-1. McDavid 16-1. 24 hours ago was McDavid -120. Kucherov +135. McDavid +700. Celebrini 22-1. So if you got in last night before the Ducks game, you would have had 22-1. Now it's down to 10-1. And if you want to go to one step further here, back when we did this on February 26th, McKinnon was -240, Kucherov +650, Celebrini +420, McDavid +850. So how the market has changed. But here's what we're looking at right now is that's the big one. And listen, I know we opened up the program talking about the Sharks, and yeah, it's probably McKinnon's year or Kucherov's year. I mean, problem with Celebrini's case is it requires it to be, I don't want to say a weak year for MVP, but there has to be some opening amongst the top, there has to be flaws in the top two candidates. Give me the argument against Kucherov. Give me the argument against McKinnon. It is really tough to do that. Now, I get it. If the Sharks make the playoffs and you look at the Sharks point totals for the team, Celebrini pretty much doubles up Will Smith in the number 2 slot. And I've been to 9 Sharks games this year already. I've seen Celebrini in person. This has been the most enjoyable season of hockey I've watched in a long time. I would love to see him get the Hart if they make the playoffs. And if they do, then maybe they have to give it to him. But it is really tough to look at what McKinnon and Kucherov's resumes look like and be like, nah, we have to overlook that.
Even if the Sharks don't make the playoffs, right? Because I am one that believes you do not have to make the playoffs in order to win this trophy. Those two are not like there's strong correlation. There's just not causation. What Macklin Celebrini has been able to do, and watching the shift in that market, right? From 22-1 to 10 after that one game.
24 hours.
That's it. Like the amount of money that needs to come in. To me, you have to give it to Celebrini for a multitude of reasons. One, the point total. He is 19 years old. He is a child. He can't drink in the United States. I don't know what he does for fun. It must be only playing hockey, or maybe he has grape juice. The level of which he is competed at is beyond anything that, again, not to take anything away from Kucherov and McKinnon. The only arguments against it is just that, would Colorado be where they are without McKinnon? Like, maybe they not as good as they are now.
They'd be in third place. You'd have Dallas and Minnesota ahead.
Right. And, for Tampa Bay, would they be where they are without Kucherov? I mean, we've seen them do it once, right? They once
not in that division, not the way it's playing out. They would be down with the Islanders and Flyers of the world right now.
So I'm not taking anything away from those players, because the trophy says it's the most valuable player to his team. If Celebrini is not on that roster, the Sharks are not fighting for a playoff spot.
I'm not at Sharks Blues on a Monday night in March. No, Celebrini's not on that roster.
They are fighting with the Vancouver Canucks for the first overall pick. Like, that's how bad the rest of the supporting cast has been for Celebrini. Like, he is by far the straw that stirs the drink. This is a one-man show. He is putting this team on his back and carrying them. The Sharks have a multitude of flaws. They don't have enough depth. The goaltending the goaltending has not been good. The blue line has been shaking. The goaltending sacred. Everything is pointing to them not, yes, they should have taken a step, but maybe they take more of a step of the same path that the Chicago Blackhawks have taken, right? Like, they're nowhere near a playoff team. They've taken a step if you want, but they're not here. The Sharks are, again, we pretty much basically just wrote them off. We're like, hey, no, can't make the playoffs. And Celebrity's like, well, don't worry, I got time. The totals and everything that he does, in terms of how the wording of this award goes, he is the most valuable player to his team. If I remove all these guys, these teams struggle. Yes. But the team that struggles the most is San Jose.
Now, let me just throw the numbers. McKinnon, 50 and 71. Kucherov, 40 and 81. Macklin has got 40 and 65. Now, I can't believe we're having a Hart Trophy discussion, and Connor McDavid's like sitting at the table, but nobody's acknowledging him.
Nobody.
Like, hi, guys. Now, let me throw this out at you. If I know it's a weak division, but if Edmonton pulls out the division without Leon Draisaitl and it's McDavid driving this team, that's not worth anything. I understand it's the pillow fight division, and maybe he hurts his own case because he called the division a pillow fight himself. But I mean, that has to count for something, because it would be very easy, no second best player on the planet, quote unquote, to fall down in the Pacific, maybe finish third, maybe fall into that wild card mix, and they're playing better, it seems like, without Draisaitl. They're rallying behind not having it right now.
I don't even, what's crazy? Like with all these guys here, depending on how, they pick the Hart Trophy and whatnot, like McDavid may not even get a first place vote.
And he's got 43 and 82, so his numbers are comparable to Kucherov's.
Right. He's like, I can't make an argument for giving it to McDavid ahead of any of those players.
Which might be one of the craziest things ever
said. Which is wild, because he is so good, right? Like, I think that's also hurt his chances. He's like, we've seen McDavid put up like 140 points, and we're like, okay, do it. You know what I mean? Do it again. You're just like, okay, whatever. It's a down year, right? Because he's so elite. He's so good. Yeah, listen. But this is fun fact. Carey Price can now officially say that he has been a teammate with 100-point player. It's the first time in his career that he's got a 100-point player on the roster.
Listen, I know he can't come back, but like at some point with the way they're playing, maybe he's like, hey, Mike, maybe just give me let me dress one. Can I just sit as the backup? You know what I mean? Can I just sit, be the emergency goalie? But to me, you have to give it to Celebrini. It's his trophy. It's the sheer separation from the rest of his team. And again, this is probably because the Sharks are bad, right? Like the separation, and they're not bad. They're just they're waiting for the rest of the roster to fill out. Maybe. But again, I think I think what hurts Colorado and Tampa Bay is just that they're good teams. You know what I mean? Which is fair. That's what you want. Not many teams could survive losing their best player, right? And I'm not saying that Colorado and Tampa Bay can do it. I'm just saying their rosters are more complete, so it hurts less, and through no fault of their own. That's a good team. They're probably they're going to compete to maybe win Stanley Cups, but in terms of the trophy, it's got to go to Macklin. San Jose, I think I saw the stat before, 116-3 when Celebrini doesn't register a point. Of course, because listen, no offense to Will Smith, he's not there yet, and he missed a ton of time, or the rest of the gang there. But it's Celebrini, and then it's everybody else. And here's what I'll say too: when we after that overtime loss in St. Louis and the way they got smacked around in Nashville the night before when we left them for dead, Celebrini, goal and assist in a 3-2 win over Columbus, 2 goals and assist, 5-4 over St. Louis, 2-2 last night against the Ducks. He's a part of every goal in that game. Yeah, he continues to be handling the lion's share of production down the stretch, and even if they don't get in, if they're somehow in it to the final days, if they're in it to that last 3-game road trip, I think it's, unless McKinnon or Kucherov all of a sudden start producing at a similar clip. Celebrini is doing what elite generational players are supposed to do, right? Like, he's carrying the weight. He takes the whole team on his back and says, let's go. The same way guys like McDavid have done in the past. We're just like, hey, we're taking you. You're coming with us. The same way great players have done before. He is doing that in real time, and we get to watch it. I get the Ducks are not fantastic. They still sit at the top of their division. That was a close game with the Blues. He comes out and he makes a difference. He is pulling the weight of this team in ways, hockey is a team game, and he's just like, let me help you. I mean, he's in a geographical location in the country where it's all about the Warriors and the Giants. Those are the top 2 teams in the Bay. Celebrini name's coming up more and more. My daughter's favorite player, Macklin Celebrini. It's happening. It's cool to watch. It's one of the more enjoyable seasons I've watched. We still got 2 more I want to get to before we get to our picks quickly here. Next up, we'll talk about, two teams that I don't think either of us think are going to end up making the playoffs here. But which of these would you rather have? Would you rather have the Detroit Red Wings under 94.5 total points at plus 120, or the Flyers at under 94.5 total points at minus 108? Looking at where they are in the standings right now, they both have 86 points. They both have 74 games played. So the numbers are, the chances are identical for them to, hit this or not hit this. Which of these would you rather have? Now, again, I think we're in agreement that I don't think either of us think they're going to get either Eastern Conference spot. So it's not a make-miss playoff situation. It's a point total. Looking at the schedules down the stretch, I would probably lean more towards Detroit being under than Philly, but take a little bit of that value there.
I mean, listen, the Flyers have been the better team over the last 10? The Flyers are 7-2-1. That says, it says whatever you want about them.
And they do have one more game head to head against each other after tonight too. So
after they do, so they play tonight, which is a critical game. I mean, for Detroit, Detroit's gone. The Yzer plan is falling apart again here. 3-6-1. They're falling down here. And I mean, listen, the Sens are no good. They got their own things to worry about. But I mean, if you look at this here, they have done themselves no favors, right? They lose to Boston, right? They lose to Ottawa. They somehow beat the Sabres. And you're like, okay, maybe they've fixed it. They lose to the Flyers 5-3, right? Critical game. They lose to the Penguins. John Gibson has, they're running him into the ground. That's the only human body they can afford at this point. So they trot him out there a ton. And, maybe he's playing a little bit too much down the stretch. Maybe all the pixie dust has worn off there, kind of like, in Space Jam, Michael's secret sauce there. Like maybe he's out because now he's, if he can't give them the goaltending that they need, the rest of that team is just they're not getting it done. So I would take the under for Detroit. I would take the under.
I look at both schedules. I would parlay these two. I think they both go under 94.5. That's probably the way to go here. Looking at just to go through the remaining schedule. So they play each other tonight. Then Philly is at the Islanders tomorrow, home for the Bruins, at the Devils, at the Red Wings, at the Jets, and then close with the Hurricanes and the Canadians. Detroit at Philly tonight, then at the Rangers on Saturday, home for 3 straight against Minnesota, Columbus, and Philly, or 4 straight, Columbus, Philadelphia, Jersey, then finish in Florida at Tampa and Florida. So I think they both get there, maybe a little bit close, but I think that both happens. Now, the last one before we get to picks, just looking at the Islanders and the Kings, because I feel like they're in similar situations in the opposite conferences here. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the Islanders because to make the playoffs is minus 110, the miss is minus 120. Kings to make after last night's win plus in overtime against the Blues plus 100, miss minus 130. What are you thinking here amongst any of these? I would, between the two on each side, I would take Kings miss because now I'm back on the Sharks are going to get that last spot bandwagon again. I think Pittsburgh's in. I think Columbus has done enough to get in. So the people contending for that, the teams contending for that second wild card spot, because I think I'm going to lock Boston into that first one at this point. Ottawa, Detroit, Philly, Islanders. I know the Capitals are kind of hanging around, but not really. I would take the Islanders to make and the Kings to miss of these two.
Here's the thing. What Islanders team are we going to see? Because this team comes out and when they play well and the goaltending's on point, they're in. But when Ilya Sorokin shows a little bit of flaw, they implode. They just absolutely fall apart. I would take the Kings to miss. I don't think they've done enough. They
a poor team at home. I don't trust teams at home. The Kings, here's the thing about the Kings. They're a bad team at home. They're in the middle of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game homestand with 5 to go. So then they finish at Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary. So they could sweep those last 3.
They could, but it may be too late at that point, depending on what San Jose does. And I mean, I guess we got to continue to care about the Nashville Predators and everything happened on the other side.
Twice.
Lose. Right. There's so many things that can happen there. I mean, the Islanders, again, I just don't know it, and I'm pretty sure Vegas has no idea either. But you would need, again, Columbus has done themselves no favors here. They've lost 4 in a row, and you're like, hey, not the time, to be falling apart here. So, man, I would probably take both teams to miss. I don't think any of them are good enough to be here.
I would take the Kings to miss. The only thing that makes me leery about Kings to miss is you look at their remaining schedule. So they got 2 home games against Nashville. They play Toronto once, Vancouver twice. They have 1 home game against Edmonton. Then we said Seattle, and Calgary. So if they can get some momentum behind them, the schedule would benefit them and they could take advantage of it. I think at this point, that second wild card spot is going to be the Kings or the Sharks. I just still don't trust Nashville. And yes, the Sharks and the Predators play each other twice down the stretch. One of those games coming up on Saturday. Then they play in Nashville again. I think the Kraken are toast at this point. I know Winnipeg has gone on a tear lately, but I just don't see it.
That's how bad the West is, by the way. Winnipeg, who was at one point last, and here they are. They're just like, hey, hold on. I think we could be a playoff team. We're like, man, if you're in the West, man, you got a chance until it's mathematically eliminated. It shouldn't be the case, but listen, here we are.
All right, folks. Our favorite time of the day on Thursdays. It's time to run the board. We got a 14 gamer tonight. Let's get to some picks. All right, folks, here we go. It is time to run the board here. 14 games this week. I think next Thursday is a 14 game or 2. But then after that, that's it for the deep slates. Because that last Thursday, I think, is like 6 games. So not a ton there. Now, first up on the docket here, we got the Sabres at the Senators here. Looking on, let's just let me scroll to the proper part of the document here, where I have all of our notes typed up for the picks tonight. Looking at this one, Buffalo can clinch a playoff berth with a win. Buffalo has a 6-game winning streak going against the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa's on a 3-game winless streak, but they are 7-1-2 in their last 10 home. So something to think about. Flip side there. It's going to be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen versus Linus Ullmark. I got the Buffalo money line at even money. After they lost 3 in a row, they've gotten back on track with 2 straight victories. Tonight starts a 2-game road trip with Washington up next. UPL has been fantastic since January 3rd, going 12-3-2. And all of his losses have been by 1 goal, except for that January 3rd game. Ottawa is nothing special at home. And yes, they have dropped 3 in a row. But Buffalo is the 4th best road team. The run Buffalo's been on, a chance to clinch a playoff berth, and the way that season has gone, I'm going to take them on the line on the money line at even money. The Senators are a playoff team, by the way. This is the stretch to prove it. Home for Buffalo, Minnesota, Carolina, Tampa, Florida. So if they survive that, they're probably going to the playoffs, but I don't think it's happening.
Listen, I can't believe that they gave us this Buffalo Sabres at even money, considering how good they've been for so long now and the run that they've been on and how good they are. The Ottawa Senators, not just on the ice, off the ice, they are in turmoil. Just, I mean, with everything between Linus Ullmark needing a break and then, Ottawa getting popped 5 in the first down in Florida with a roster that has half of it has AHL guys up because nobody's healthy. The Sens are they're falling apart. They're falling apart right at the seam. So
it's not that they're not healthy. It's just they're, like you said, they're falling apart at the wrong time of the year.
They're falling apart. They are not healthy, but I feel like there's a little bit of turmoil between the ears for a lot of guys here. So I think it's going to be tense. They'd probably be better off playing on the road than playing at home. If Ullmark gives up an early goal, oh boy, the panic is going to start to set in with everybody. So give me all the Sabres, man. You know it right off the rip. Sabres want to come out, get an early goal, and just let it eat them up from the inside. That's what they need.
We're both on the Sabres money line there. If you think the Senators pull it out, -120. Total is 6.5, but I'm not touching the total here. I like to say sometimes you got something you like, you lock in. That's it. Craig checking in. Sens falling apart because Brady's old man and brother have convinced him out of Canada. So see what happens with Brady in the offseason there. Next up on the docket, get the Penguins at the Lightning. This is going to be Stu Skinner versus Andrei Vasilevsky. Pittsburgh has won 3 of the last 4. Sid Crosby, 1 point behind Stevie Yzerman for 7th all time. Tampa Bay trails Buffalo by 2 points for top spot in the Atlantic. They have a 2-point lead over Montreal for second. Jake Gensel's got a 5-game goal streak, 5 goals and 4 assists. Kucherov had no points against Montreal on Tuesday. He has not been held without points in consecutive games since November. So if you are a person that likes to play, anytime points, or Kucherov would be a good way to go there. Lightning minus 170 money line favorites. Penguins plus 142. Road dogs total 6.5. I'm staying away, but I'd actually lean under 6.5 if I was going to make a play here.
You're going to lean under?
I would lean under. No, I'm not touching it.
Oh God, no.
I know that's risky with Skinner.
No, we're putting the whole mortgage on the over here. Listen, the Tampa Bay Lightning are one of the most penalized teams in the league, and even if you take away the games that they played against, their other Florida components there in the Panthers, they at sometimes the wires cross and they do things that are dumb. They played Montreal, and at times you look at them and you're like, oh, you're looking for trouble, buddy. You're looking for trouble. If they look for trouble, the Penguins have been on an absolute run here right now. In their last 2 games, they've scored 13 goals. It's popping. And again, having to trust Stuart Skinner is certainly it's an experience, right? It's an experience to have to trust him. Vasilevsky has been he's been good. He was not bad against Montreal. He made some very timely saves. Montreal Canadiens did benefit from those 2 empty net goals. If not, that game probably finishes under. But, well, it did finish under. But it probably finishes 2-1 instead of 4-1. I'm, again, over here. I'm not buying any of these teams' penalty kills. I'm buying their power plays. If you give teams opportunities to score with good players, they will find a way to do it. So maybe we see a lot of chippiness back and forth, right? Tampa Bay Lightning just being themselves here. The Pittsburgh Penguins are a good road team. Tampa Bay is a good home team. I don't see this being a defensive battle. So we're just going to take the over. And listen, maybe Andrei Vasilevsky gets another fight, right? We're seeing goalies decided they want to fight everybody. If you're a Russian goalie, you're fighting somebody. So listen, whatever it is, it's going to be high scoring. That's for sure.
Markstrom wanted that fight. Shesterkin definitely gave it. That's for sure.
Again, if you're a Russian goalie, man, I don't know what they're teaching you over there, but they're like, hey, just punch him in the face. And so,
I mean, what did Shesterkin say? He was surprised that it didn't come against Sorokin for his first career fight. Now you've set the table for next
There
season.
you go. Igor, listen, Ilya Sorokin's got to fight somebody. That's what I heard from that. He's got to fight somebody.
No Rangers remaining on the schedule for the Islanders this year, but look forward to that in 2026, 2027. Next up, we got the Bruins at the Panthers here. Goaltending is going to be Jeremy Swayman versus Sergei Bobrovsky. Boston's got a 4-game winning streak and a 6-point lead for the wild card 2 spot. Charlie McAvoy has a 12-game road point streak. Florida eliminated from the playoffs officially with a regulation loss here. Looking on the money line here. Bruins minus 162 road favorites. Panthers plus 136 at home. Total 6.5. I'm going to go with the Boston Bruins to win in regulation plus 105. The money line was too juiced. Bruins are a wagon lately with wins in 6 of their last 7 with quality wins during the 4-game winning streak at Buffalo versus the Wild, at the Blue Jackets versus the Stars. I don't worry about the look ahead to Tampa on Saturday. Panthers are inconsistent, banged up, lost 6 of their last 9. I know Boston's a stronger team at home, but this just, Boston's rolling right now. Florida's just not doing anything for me. Give me the regulation victory.
I love when we see eye to eye. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes we just get, you just get in that rhythm where like Henrik and Daniel Sedin, where we can just see the same thing. Again, doesn't happen often, but I'm right there with you. I get the Panthers won and they beat Ottawa, but I mean, that should have never happened. They're so banged up. It's just the guys out there. You're like, listen, I'm trying, but maybe there's some goals to be scored here. Both these teams have scored 50 or more power play goals on the year, so it's there. But again, Florida's just missing so many dogs in this fight.
This is a 1.5 line, 1 defensive pairing team right now.
Yeah, they're banged up. I mean, Florida. Listen, if you're the Panthers parking lot come game time, bring your jersey. You could be in the lineup if needed. Also, Sergei Bobrovsky has had a down year, I would say, and that's putting it nicely. So if the Bruins figure it out that they get some pucks on him, they end up in the back of the net. It should be okay.
All right, so we see eye to eye there. So that one probably doesn't hit as a result, but nonetheless, we feel strong. That was one of my favorite plays, Bruins in regulation. Slight, you get a little plus money there. Next up on the docket for tonight, we got Chris's Canadians at my Rangers, a little Madison Square Garden, 7:00 puck drop. It's going to be Fowler versus Sturkin, so a good goalie matchup here. Montreal's on a 6-game winning streak, 2-point lead over Boston for the third spot in the Atlantic. Cole Caulfield has 26 goals in 26 games. Rangers, however, are seeking their first season sweep of the Canadians since 2002, my sophomore year in college. That was a long time ago. I'm staying away from this one. I would lean over despite 6.5, despite the strong goaltending matchup, just due to their prior meetings, because both of these games went over. It's at 6.5 total. Canadians road favorites -125. Rangers slight home dogs +105. I'd also lean Canadians money line, but I'm not touching it.
Yeah, Habs money line. Listen, Habs won 6 in a row. What are we doing? Rangers are absolute poopy at home. They're no good. They don't shoot the puck. And the Montreal Canadiens can allow shots against. Listen, it's going to be another goaltending battle. The Montreal Canadiens have tightened up defensively. It's looked a lot better. Like holding the Tampa, they have given up 1 goal in 4 straight. So they gave up 1 goal against Columbus, 1 against Nashville, 1 against Carolina, 1 against Tampa Bay. And then in the game before that, they gave up 2 to the Carolina Hurricanes. So the defensive structure that Marty St. Louis has been trying to put in place here for the better part of like 4 years seems to be hitting. Maybe we understand this hybrid man-to-man in their own zone that we keep talking about. Yes, the Rangers have been better of late, but I mean, they beat Chicago, they beat Florida, and they beat the Devils. Those are not real teams. They're just trying to finish it out here. So with how poorly the Rangers have played at home, and yes, I understand that the Rangers have beat the Canadiens twice. They've been some high-scoring games. This was way back when. Their last meeting was in December. The Habs were still learning who they are at that point. Jacob Fowler has proven that he can be reliable. So give me the Habs as one of the highest-scoring teams on the road to just absolutely pummel Igor Shesterkin. He's not. Listen, he's not fighting. He's not fighting Fowler. No. I hope not.
Not happening. Montreal, 5th best over team in the league overall. When you look at the road scenario there for them, they moved down a little bit, but they're still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8th best road over team. So there you go. Canadians, Rangers there. Next up, we got Red Wings, Flyers, a rematch of the 97 Stanley Cup for those old enough to remember it. Detroit and Philly, both 2 points behind Columbus for the second wild card spot. Red Wings are 0-4-1 in their last 5 trips to Philadelphia. 4-7-2 in their last 13 road games. Philly hasn't lost consecutive games in regulation since January. They did lose to the Capitals on Tuesday. Looking at here, we got a John Gibson versus Samuel Ersson goaltending matchup. -110 either way here. So Vegas throwing their hands up. Don't know what's going to happen here. Totals 5.5 +110, and that's where I'm going is the under. Opposite rule in effect from their meeting last week. That's part of it. 21-16 Philly is to the under at home. Detroit 20-17 to the under on the road. No, John Gibson is a better road goaltender than he is a home goaltender. Ignoring his last outing at Pittsburgh, we will still apply that philosophy. And for as much as we rag on Samuel Ersson, 4-0-0 with a 1.34 goals against and a .937 save percentage in March. Both of these teams are going to be playing tight. Both of these teams recognize that this is a 4-point swing game against a team you're in direct competition with. I don't think you're going to see a lot of wide open hockey here. I think you're going to see something more along the lines of what we saw in Los Angeles last night, a 2-1 overtime victory for the Kings.
Listen, you are absolutely correct. Samuel Ersson, for as much as we, dunk on him, he's been a lot better. He's been a lot better. Listen, again, we talked about it earlier. The Detroit Red Wings are just running John Gibson into the ground. That's the only body they got. That's it. They got to keep throwing him out there. And Yes, he's been a lot better on the road, and that probably stays true. That being said, total's 5.5 here. So I'm going to take the over because if one of these teams is, I just need one of the, it can't be tied like with 10 minutes left in the third, unless it's already 3-3. But if it's tied, like something like 2-2, just with 10 minutes left, games go to overtime. That's it. We're about to see the most. We're about to see prime New Jersey Devils in their era shut down defense from both sides. Cross the line, dump it in, and then just suffocate the neutral zone to death. But if one team's got the lead, I don't think either side's going to be waiting until the final minute to pull the goalie. Like, you're coming out early. And if you give up one early, doesn't matter. Pull them again. Keep pushing. Like, whether you lose 2-1 or 5-1, doesn't matter. We got to make a push. So I think the empty net hurts one of these teams here. And we only need 6 combined. The Detroit Red Wings are a good power play team. The Flyers defensively on the penalty kill, it's not anything to write home about. I'm going to take the over here because your opposite rules. Sometimes you follow it, sometimes you don't. So like the Red Wings and Flyers, your rule is inconsistent, and so will both these teams.
I'll stand by my inconsistent rule. If I had to lean aside, I would take the Flyers in this one. I would back the Flyers tonight. I'd fade them tomorrow night against the Islanders. I think the Islanders are licking their chops to jump a team that they know they can, give themselves a little space in the standings there. So still in the 7:00 Eastern window here. We got a Metropolitan Division matchup here. Back end of a home and home at the Blue Jackets and the Hurricanes. Columbus is on a 4-game winless streak, 0-3-1. They are 1 point behind the Islanders for the 3 spot in the Metro. Kirill Marchenko, 10 goals in 13 games versus Carolina. Carolina can clinch their 8th straight playoff berth victory. I'm going to see Elvis Merzlikins versus Freddie Anderson here. Looking on the money line, it's minus 192 for the Hurricanes, plus 160 for the Blue Jackets. Total is 6.5 here. So opposite rule, but
there we go. There we go. I was waiting for you to be like, well, the opposite rule said. There we go. See,
Anderson has been leaky lately. Columbus has allowed 3 or more in 3 straight. I think we get a little bit more of a buckled down pace from the last game, but I'm not touching this one.
Look, Anderson's been leaky. Anderson's been leaky all year. They keep rolling about
over, then it goes under. Be like, oh, you should have stuck with your rule. So like,
it's flawed right off the rip. There we go. In 4K, we got it. We got him. He's right. Listen, it's the over. Freddie Anderson. Are you kidding me? Freddie Anderson can get he's going to give up 4 goals on 16 shots. It doesn't matter. I don't care who wins. Elvis Merzlikins has been better. I will say that, but listen, the Hurricanes are they're a wagon at home. They will pump you with shots, right? And listen, for all the good that Merzlikins has done, he's still Elvis Merzlikins at time. So the fact that they were able to get a bunch past Jet Greaves, and you're like, okay, yes, we know what we got to do. I just think this game opens up at one point. There's just too many, get pucks on goal. Freddie Anderson ain't stopping them. Not that old man body ain't doing it. So I'm taking the over, even if I'm wrong. Doesn't matter. There is no faith in Freddie Anderson here. None.
No faith in Freddie.
No faith in Freddie at all. I would be the president of that. This Carolina is going to be a good team when they finally decide that it's not Freddie Anderson that needs to lead the way at all.
We got one more. So now we're in the 7:30 Eastern window. So we're halfway through the slate. We haven't even gotten to the 8 o'clocks yet. Capitals, Devils, Washington's on a 3-game winning streak. They're 3 points behind Carolina. They're 3 points behind Columbus for the wild card. We got Logan Thompson versus Jake Allen going. On the money line, Capitals are slight road dogs at minus 105. Devils minus 115 at home. Total is 6.5 here. I'm staying away, but I would lean Caps money line and over if I was going to make a pick here, but I'm not going to officially make that pick. That would be my leans.
You said over?
Yeah, I know.
We were aligned for a little bit. And now we've gone the opposite way.
I think once we get into the West Coast window, we'll be a little bit more online here. I could see one 2, 3, at least maybe 3 picks that we are eye to eye on.
The Capitals have been eventful over their last couple of games here. They've been in some high scoring matches, but I mean, who's scoring for the Devils outside of Jackie? That's it.
Jesper Bratt's actually been showing up lately.
All right. Well, good for them. I'm taking the under here. I'm taking the under here. I don't think there's enough offense on either side to really, to really make it work. Maybe the Devils get a little bit if the Capitals end up being undisciplined. 6.5 though, just a little bit too high. Like Jake Allen's not terrible. I know it hasn't been a run, but I mean he's put up some good numbers. The goaltending matchup here is good enough for this to be, a tight event, like kind of like a 4-2 finish kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's part of the reason why I'm not touching the total. And then the Capitals, do they really think they're still in the playoff hunt? Like I know you go into it but I don't know. I can't get a read on those the Caps. Right? I'm not going to touch that one. Jets at Stars. We are now in the 8:00 window, and we are out in the Western Conference for those slates. We got it's Winnipeg 10-4-4 since the Olympic break, 2 points behind LA for the wild card too, so they are alive. Kyle Connor, and Mark Scheifele both have 5-game point streaks going. Jason Robertson has a 3-game goal streak going against the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck versus Jake Ottinger here. Looking on the money line, Dallas -155 home favorites. The Jets are +130. All three of the 3 matchups so far this season have all gone over. 2 of them were Hellebuck Ottinger. One of them was DeSmith Comrie. I'm staying away here. I could see Winnipeg, continuing their run, but I could also see Dallas getting right against the Jets here. I like the matchup from a entertainment standpoint, from a wagering standpoint. I'm really not about this one. I know I've been staying away from a few, but I've got picks, but all but 1 game the rest of the way. So there we go.
I'm right there with the over. Whether the Jets believe they're true or not is neither here nor there. It's been a rough go for Jake Ottinger. Like it's not as consistent. The wins are there. He is the modern day Martin Jones right now. Like the numbers look good. He wins games. The goals against average is respectable. The save percentage isn't there. As long as you get a couple of shots on goal, good things are going to happen. I think this one starts off like slower, right? But like 5.5 total, it's too low considering what's at stake here. The Dallas Stars can pump the puck. They can get it done. And the Jets are, I don't know if I want to believe them or not.
Maybe like a first period under, but over for the game kind of thing.
Kind of one of those things. Like as it moves on and things start to open up, like that's where you start to see the change. So I'm gonna like slight lean on the over. I just don't see this being like a 2-1 finish.
Yeah, just the way the games have been going between these teams this year too. So, like I said, I'm staying away from that. Now we're still in the 8:00 Eastern window. We got the Canucks at the Wild here. Vancouver's guaranteed a top 3 pick and the best lottery odds with the loss. Minnesota clinches a playoff berth with 1 point. This is Quinn Hughes' first game against Vancouver since being traded, so it's not the game back in Vancouver, but it is his first game against them. Goaltending matchup tonight is the Tolopolo versus Gustafsson. I know I butcher his names. Call me out. I don't care. Looking at the it's money line tonight, -425 Wild, +330 here for the Canucks. Total is 6.5. Even the regulation 60-minute line is way too juiced here. Looking at that as I pull it up here, it's -245 for regulation victory. So where I'm going is over 6.5. I got it at -102. Both of these teams rank in the top 10 in overs. Minnesota because they could score. Vancouver because they allow a lot of goals. Actually, the most in the league. Gustafsson's last 3 starts have gone over this total, and 5 of Tolopolo's have gone over. And if they've got 8 on Colorado the other night, you think they can get 2 tonight against Minnesota? I think so. That's all you need is 2. Minnesota's going to put the puck in the net a ton.
Yeah, they scored 8 against Colorado. I had Colorado in regulation, so that's how that went on that side. Listen, I'm going to go strictly with the numbers here. The implication that the Canucks puck line at +1.5 is +140. Like, do you understand that is the consensus here is that the like that they can't even keep this close.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought they couldn't do against Colorado. And then they did. So I'm going to take the Canucks plus 1.5. I understand this is the tail end of a back-to-back. They're finishing up a road trip. But, like, what do the Canucks have to lose? You know what I mean? Like, what have they got to lose at this point?
They're kind of in that, like, we're playing free because the season's over. Like, it's done. Like,
Right.
I mean, you look at their recent stretch, and yeah, they haven't been winning games, but they beat Colorado 8-6. They lose a close one to Vegas 4-2. Yeah, Calgary smacked them around 7-3. They kept it within 2 in a couple of those games before then. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Predators in the shootout. So, listen, nobody's expecting anything from the Canucks. I just need this to go. I don't care about a side here.
I think, like, I again, it just, like, plus, you're getting plus money, and you're like, just keep it close, Vancouver. Just keep it close. And there's too much value there to just be like, no. Like, I can't get behind. You're telling me you want me to get behind the Minnesota Wild, like, minus 1.5 when they're, like, what is it, minus 168? Like, you're telling me a puck line?
Can I give you a safer bet? Because you got 2 books that have them at plus 2.5 at minus 120 and minus 125 respectively. That you could potentially talk me into. 2.5 at minus 120. I think that's a bet MGM.
The Wild have been, like, a little bit inconsistent of late. Like, it's not like they've come out and just smacked their. I get what it should be on paper. I understand, but the good news is hockey's not played on paper, because if it was, I would have made money yesterday, falling asleep halfway through, the Colorado game, but that didn't happen. So and the Canucks did win. They did beat Minnesota. This was back in December, but they did it at home, where they've been absolutely horrendous. So,
and there was Quinn Hughes on the team at that point too.
I'm just saying, I think it's possible that the Canucks keep this within range.
I'm gonna listen. The plus 2.5 minus 120. I'm on board with that. That you don't see it.
I'm going to take the plus 1.5 at plus money. I expect it to fail, but I'm doing this because the value is there. That's it. I'm trusting the numbers. What the next Toronto Maple Leafs GM should be doing is trusting the analytics and the numbers behind it. Numbers tell me that there's a little bit of value here on Vancouver covering the puck line. So we're going to go with that. And, if we lose, then we blame the nerds.
Now, we've got 5 games left to go here as we're approaching the top of the hour on the East Coast. If you want to go back, you could go back and catch the rest of the slate. We started at about 5:35 Eastern time. Now, we are only game in the 9 o'clock Eastern window. Is the Blackhawks at the Oilers. Edmonton's on a season high 4-game winning streak, 2 points behind Anaheim, first in the Pacific. They've taken 10 of their last 11 versus Chicago. McDavid's got a 5-game goal streak. It's going to be Spencer Knight versus Tristan Jarry. Looking on the money line here, Edmonton heavy home favorites minus 225, Blackhawks plus 185 on the road. Total is 6.5 up to minus 118. I got it at minus 115 a little earlier, taking over here. Now, surprisingly, the prior 2 meetings between these squads went under. This is the Blackhawks' first time seeing Tristan Jarry in any capacity this season, but during his time with Pittsburgh or Edmonton. It's McDavid versus Bedard. I mean, come on now. The Oilers are the top over team in the league. The Hawks have gone over this total in 4 of their last 5. They're allowing 4.6 goals per game during that stretch. Edmonton has scored at least 3 in all of their victories since November 12th, which was against Philly, a 2-1 game. So you think the Blackhawks are going to win. They score at least 3 in all these games. Tristan Jarry's going for Edmonton. Give me the over.
Yeah, Tristan Jarry really ruined that. I had taken the Edmonton Oilers puck line. This was because I thought they would roll Connor Ingram out there until he can fall apart. Clearly, they've decided that Tristan Jarry deserves another go here. I don't know why, because he can't stop the puck. But
I mean, if he could get his game back again, if you want to give him a soft landing to get his game going again, maybe this is it right here.
Soft landing. I mean, how many pillows does he need at this point? I'm going to go with the over here as well. I mean, Tristan Jarry I know sometimes one player doesn't really sway the pendulum one way or another. Tristan Jarry is the exception to the rule. When he's on the ice, bad things happen. He's not very good at his job anymore. Who could have seen that coming? But I got to take the over here. I'm still okay with, like, the Oilers minus 1.5.
It's not as confident about it.
It's just I feel like now we need an empty net goal to get there because Jerry's going to give up like 4. So like this has to be like 6-4, which is still hitting the over. So might as well just go with that.
Now we got 4 games to go here. We are in my favorite window, the 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific window. Oh, this is not a game I will be watching. Flames at Golden Knights here. Vegas has a 3-game point streak, 1-0-2 in typical fashion. They've got a 3-game point streak, but only one of them is a victory. Rasmus Anderson, this is his first game back against Calgary since being traded back in January. So not a return to Calgary, similar situation to Quinn tonight, just playing his old team. It's going to be Dustin Wolf versus Carter Hart. Looking on the money line here, Vegas minus 250 home favorites, plus 205 for the Flames. Total is 6.5. Puck line plus a puck and a half for Calgary's minus 120. Vegas minus a puck and a half plus 100. If you're looking on a 60-minute regulation, minus 150 for the Golden Knights. I'm too many variables here. I'm staying away. I don't love Carter Hart getting the start tonight. Dustin Wolf is shaky on the road. I mean, yeah, sure. This is all leaning to like an over 6.5 play plus money, but I don't know. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's right. Listen, hey, John Tortorella's in town. Who would have thought John Tortorella would be saying, yeah, Carter Hart is starting? Where have we seen that before? Carter Hart hasn't played in what seems like forever, and when he did play, he was not very good at it. He has an 871 save percentage. Dustin Wolf on the road, boy, listen, it is tough. Now, through no fault of his own, his entire team led about to dry there in Colorado. It was an absolute just come out and do whatever we wanted to do. That's so even a Golden Knights team that can't really execute, let's say, and with all the fiasco going on there, you're telling me both these teams can't find a way to score on subpar goaltending? They'll figure it out. So
Are you talking me?
There you listen, you're telling I gotta trust Carter Hart. I know the Flames can't score, but I mean, they can score against Carter Hart. And then you're telling me the Vegas can't score against Dustin Wolf on the road? Like, all John's got to do is pull out the film and say, hey, just shoot the puck at him. The Flames are, again, they're rebuilding. It's fine. But it was too easy for Colorado to do literally anything they wanted. It didn't help that they got themselves in penalty trouble early. But, again, it's neither here nor there. Vegas's power play has been pretty good. So if you give them the opportunities to score goals, they will. There's more than enough. This has like 3 after 2 written all over it.
Torts will have Mitchie asking Austin if he can come home. Oh, listen, if Matthews is going to go, so you know what would be funny is that the rumors we saw with Austin Matthews, like if he's going to get traded, he'd want to go somewhere west. We saw LA, we saw Anaheim, we saw Utah on that list. Could you imagine somehow Vegas and Eichel, like it would never have, like if I know the Golden Knights, if anybody could figure out how to pull it off, it would be them somehow, but it's just not realistic in terms of the cap hits and stuff like that. Could you imagine if it was a Matthews Marner show in the desert? Toronto just had to watch that.
I think Matthews has to go. Here's why he's not going there. One, I
say Utah or Anaheim.
Listen, Matthews has to go somewhere with an offensively minded coach, right? Whether he wins or not, I don't think he's bought in just yet. I don't think he's bought in, right? And what I mean by that is, like the year that Ovechkin won his Stanley Cup, right? He bought into the system, right? Which is good defensively, and that's how you win, right? You can score as many goals as you want, but defense wins championships. And when teams and players buy into it, that's when they start to win. Matthews may not be there yet. So if he wants to go out and score another 60, listen, Anaheim has your name written all over it. Joel Quenneville's not going to get you to play much defense anymore. San Jose and other plays. Listen, man, San Jose's got some money. You know what I mean? San Jose's got some money. I hear they probably need a second center.
And Misa would be a nice piece to go back.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, right? Just saying.
Mike Greer's got the cojones to try and make a move like that too.
Listen, I'm sure Michael Bisa will end up being a great player, but if you're telling me I get Austin Matthews in the prime, right? A guy who's already scored 60, joining an already very good, a good team that can score. Listen, defensively, that's a whole other different question. Whether you get him to buy in or not is neither here nor there. But that there's lots of places where he could go, and score goals at will. Depends on what he wants to do.
Speaking of those Maple Leafs and Sharks, they are facing off tonight. The SAP Center. San Jose's on a 3-game winning streak. First team in NHL history to win 3 straight on game-winning goals coming 90 seconds or less to go in regulation. They are 1 point behind LA for the second wild card spot. It's going to be Anthony Stolarz versus Alex Nedeljkovic going here. Looking on the money line here, the Sharks -135 home favorites, Leafs +114 home road dogs, I should say. Total is 6.5 here. I think those if San Jose wasn't on a back-to-back, they'd probably be a heavier favorite. But give me the over 6.5 -105, and San Jose on the money line -120 in this one. Toronto's the 4th best over team in the league. Toronto's gone over this total in 4 of their last 6, and they just missed it by a goal those other 2 times. Anthony Stolarz has not allowed less than 2, and I know he was out for a long time, but he has not allowed less than 2 goals in a game since October 16th, which came against the Rangers. So yes, the Sharks are on a back-to-back, but they've got the momentum right now. If you're going to make the playoffs, you got to get these 2 points against an easy home team like this. I know last night was a big emotional comeback. There cannot be a letdown tonight. Little bit of trap game potential here with Nashville coming to town on Saturday. That's a team you're directly competing with. But I'll say this, and when the Sharks are going, they have a certain look about their play, and they have that right now. And yes, as much as Celebrini deserves all the flowers he can handle, when Will Smith is going, it makes the Sharks better. Will Smith, 1 goal and 6 assists in his last 3 games. He started to get it going against the Predators when they backhanded them a couple of games before that with 2 goals. I like both the over 6.5 and the San Jose money line tonight.
I see we've come back together. We are back. We have been reunited back, right? We took a moment where we went different ways, right? For, because of voodoo and like opposite rules, but we've come back now. Listen, the Leafs allow the most shots against, and that's not hard to understand why. They're bad defensively. I mean, who could have seen this coming? The Leafs being terrible defensively. It's not like I mentioned it a whole bunch of times, but listen, the people at MLS, at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, and MLSE, they had no idea, right? Or at least Mark Kelly didn't have any idea. He's like, who could have seen the Montreal Canadiens, a team that made the playoffs last year, coming out like this and being good again this year, right? Like the rest of that team, oblivious. So the Maple Leafs are going to give up at least 5 tonight. There's no question about it. The Sharks are just going to come out here and they're going to pound it, right? San Jose has played a lot of hockey of late, right? And through the credit of their own, a lot of it is exciting, right? And it's going to need to be exciting again because, yes, Nedeljkovic is the better goalie, right? Statistically this year.
He's still the 1B.
He's right. He's still the 1B, and it's a back-to-back, right? I get the kids are young and they can go out there and do whatever they want, but the Maple Leafs are going to also put themselves in a little bit of trouble. That's just because what they do. They like to put themselves in situations that they shouldn't be in. I just need the Maple Leafs to score 2, right? Like, I know I'm asking a lot from them because sometimes they go out there and they just don't shoot the puck.
The Sharks have lapses during the games. They
do. So
if you need to win the game with 90 seconds to go, that means you were in a situation where you had to rally. And they trailed against St. Louis.
Yeah.
Trailed against Columbus. Trailed against the Ducks.
You're right. But I'm still thinking the Sharks can win, maybe, right? I got their money line at -120 earlier today, and I was like, why is this number so close? It should be higher. And I was like, oh, yeah, they played so much hockey. But trusting the Leafs, man, that is something that you won't catch me doing. The Sharks they have a reason to win. The Maple Leafs have a reason to lose. And it's not like they're going to tank, but the good news is they don't have to try. They just send that roster out every night, and it's terrible. So the Maple Leafs have to lose. The Sharks have to win. Just do your jobs, right? Do it the same way you've been doing it. Let the Sharks win. Let the Leafs lose. And yes, pump the back of the net. That shouldn't be hard against Anthony Stolarz. He's given up a bunch of goals.
It's not tanking when you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, like if you put a terrible lineup out there every night that truly doesn't care, I mean, it's easy.
And it's not like you're putting a terrible lineup out there actively. Like, this is what you've got.
Yeah, this is what we got. And we just don't care about playing any type of defense or any heart and soul or care. We won't even fight when you need our captain. We'll wait until, I got to fight a one-legged Radko Gudas. Everybody's like, oh, he didn't throw a punch. No, he went out there, took his feeding. People are like, oh, yeah, Domi really showed him. And you're like, what? Showed him what? That's the guy who was apparently the code is the guy with the most games played. That's how they decide who's fighting who. And it was Domi. And then Gudis was like, you know what? I won't even throw a punch.
Yeah, like I mean, listen, Gudis understands what the situation there too.
Listen, we can call him a bunch of names, right? All the ones that have been said, but you got to call him a leader. He's like, hey, I will go out there. He's banged up. He's like, I will take my medicine. He could have easily thrown a punch and
He
probably
even said, I don't want somebody else to get my retribution.
You're right. He did not want anybody else to have to deal with his consequences. He served his games. He went out there. Domi didn't really get a ton of shots in. And again, Gudis didn't even throw a punch. So he literally went out there to take his medicine. And then he was like, all right, there we go. That's how it's settled. So call him anything you want, but you got to call him a leader because that was it.
He made a mistake, but he made the best possible effort to rectify it, even if it was a bad, and I don't want, maybe not a mistake, a bad decision.
Decision, but those are type of things for a young team like this that kind of rally everybody together, like it's one of those cultural things. You're like, look, this is how tight we are. Nobody else is going to take it. He did not want anybody else, any retribution against, someone like Cutter Gauthier or Leo Carlson or anybody else. Say, hey, I'm the guy. You want to fight me? Do so. I can handle it. I'm a big boy.
It's my mess. I'll clean it up. Don't get the mop. Don't do anything. I will handle it.
I will handle it.
Carry on.
There we go.
2 games to go, 10 o'clock window, and we have a rare 10:30 tonight. Oh, I love the 10:30 Eastern. We got Mammoth and Kraken first, though. And this is a game of two teams that just cannot get it right lately. Utah 4-5-1 in their last 10. Seattle 3-8-2 in their last 13. No confirmation yet. Probably Karel Vejmelka for the Mammoth. Joey Decord will be going for the Kraken here on the money line. The Mammoth minus 142 currently at DraftKings. Road favorites plus 120 for the Kraken. Total is 6.5 here. I had placed this bet yesterday. It was over 5.5 minus 130. Now it's up to 6.5. Both of these, their prior meetings were 5-3 and 6-3 affairs. It's up to 6.5 everywhere. I'd still take it at 6.5. Seattle's allowed 3 or more in 7 straight. Utah's gone over this total in 4 straight. Utah averages almost 3.2 goals per game. It's also the first game back from a 6-game road trip for the Kraken, so maybe a little cooking gets the offense going. But yeah, over 5.5 yesterday when I saw that was an immediate no-brainer.
Finally found a game I don't care about.
Oh,
nothing says I don't care like having to watch the Kraken play hockey. That's just, and then paired with the Mammoth, figure it out, man. You want to make the playoffs, yes or no? Like you said, neither one of the the Kraken are just not good.
Kraken are circling the drain. They're not. The Kraken may be alive, but they are not making the playoffs this year.
No,
they pencil your tee times in for the week of.
Just pull the life support, man, for the sake of everybody having to care. Just again, I don't even want to watch it.
I mean, the Mammoth are at a point now where they've struggled so much that they've actually opened the door for that wild card 1 for the Sharks, Kings, Predators class of the world right now.
They have, and it should never have been like that. Never have been like that. So, do you not want to make the playoffs? Okay, I don't care.
I mean, Winnipeg, listen, Nashville maybe is starting to fade a tiny bit. Winnipeg's, caught up. Winnipeg's right there too. So, yeah, I think this is an over game for sure. And then lastly, Predators at Kings, which, listen, that's not going to be the most exciting game to watch, I don't think. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Nashville's a 3-game losing streak, which is their longest of the season. It's the longest of the season. And they play 8 straight to close the year against teams within 1 point of a playoff spot or better. So we're going to see what they're made of here. The Kings trail Utah by 4 points for the wild card 1. Kings are seeking their first back-to-back wins since January. It's going to be C. Saros versus Darcy Kemper. I would lean under 5.5 here, but I'd probably end up staying away from this. Maybe I'll place a bet later. It's tough to expect the Kings to win 2 in a row or on back-to-back nights at home with the 2nd worst home team in the league. Nashville's the 6th worst road team in the league and have lost, like we said, 3 in a row, and they've only scored 5 goals in that stretch. Kings gutted out a 2-1 overtime win against the Blues last night, but they've alternated wins and losses over their last 4. Their only meeting was back in October, so can't really take too much out of that. They do play again in LA on Monday. So they play tonight. Then the Predators go up to San Jose to play the Sharks. The Kings host the Leafs, and then they play again in Monday. So pivotal 2-game series here.
Poor Nashville. They got a game in between, and they got to come back to LA. But I will take the Nashville Predators here at a little bit of plus money. I know it's not great, but
Plus 105.
It's plus 105, and just the Kings at home are just so bad. They can't score. The Kings can't score. Here's where the pivotal part is for me. Nashville's power play is decent, and the Kings' penalty kill is not. So I know neither team is really like heavily penalized per se, but like if Nashville can draw enough power plays, maybe they win a close one, right? Maybe.
I was leaning Preds money line initially, but then it's like, oh, they're so terrible on the road. But it's also, it's a got to have it spot. Like they've got to get, if Nashville wants to make the playoffs, they got to get 4 out of the next 6 points against the Kings and Sharks. You got to get 4 out of 6.
So start tonight, right? Come out ready, right? They lost. Listen, they lost a close one to Tampa Bay. You're like, all right, could have gone either way. It's unfortunate that they lost to the Devils. They showed no fight against Montreal. They was just like they were just overmatched, right? But I feel like this one is close enough. If you're giving me a little bit of plus money on Nashville, like this is, to me, it's a toss up. So if I get a little bit of plus money and I'm taking the power play or the special teams to kind of make a difference, I'll do it. It's good enough.
All right, fine. Preds money line and the under 5.5. I'm no longer staying away. No longer staying.
I love how we could just talk you into this. Just a little bit of,
You know what it is?
You're like, I don't want to go out for ice cream. And then you're like, oh, come on, we'll get a double scoop. And you're like, oh, well, twist my arm a minute, boy. Okay, let's go.
As long as I get sprinkled. I will say this. There is not a better person on the planet that can pair chocolate or rainbow sprinkles to the flavor of ice cream. I am beyond an expert at that. If you ever have questions, you ever torn, you let me know. I'm a sprinkle sommelier, I like to say. So and here's the thing. If this was like a 4:00 puck drop, I'm probably not, but because I will absolutely be flipping back and forth between the Sharks game and this game, because it's the staggered starts, which we all love in the same hour, make it interesting. So yeah, Preds money line and under 5.5, which is when the Kings win 6-4 later. The Kings can score 6 goals in a game. Who am I?
At home? Nah, that's not it.
I know they just did it to Utah, but that's not the case for them.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
There we go. 14 games. Let's run through the picks one more time before we say farewell. We're both on the Preds money line plus 105. I've got the under 5.5. Mammoth Kraken. I got the over 5.5 minus 130 yesterday. Chris is staying away. Chris also staying. Chris is going to be with the over 6.5 minus 105 in the Sharks money line for Maple Leaf Sharks. Forgot to add that to your picks. Now we're both on the over 6.5 plus 110 Flames at Golden Knights. Both on the over 6.5 minus 115 Blackhawks Oilers. I've got Vancouver over 6.5 total over 6.5 minus 102, and Vancouver plus 2.5 minus 120, and Canucks Wild. Chris has got them at Vancouver plus 1.5 plus 140. Jets Stars, I lean under but staying away. Chris leans over 5.5, but he's not making it a pick. Capitals Devils, he's taking the under 6.5 minus 118. I'm staying away. Blue Jackets Hurricanes, he's got the over 6.5 minus 112. Red Wings Flyers, I've got the under 5.5 plus 110. He's got the over 5.5 minus 130. Canadians Rangers, he's got the Habs money line minus 125. I would lean that way too, but I can't. I don't want to bet against the Rangers tonight. Not when they've been making me feel better lately. I can't do that. Bruins Panthers are both on the Bruins regulation win at plus 105 over the Panthers. He's got the over 6.5 in Tampa Pittsburgh. I would lean under, staying away. And then we're both on the Buffalo Sabres money line plus 100 against the Senators. There you go. Complete 14 game roster picks there. We'll do that again. We'll re-rack that and do it again next Thursday when it's another 14 game slate. The last deep one of the year. It'll be a little bittersweet.
Is it bittersweet? I mean, listen, I know the regular season's coming to an end, and it feels like it just started yesterday. But at the same time, playoff hockey is here. And I know some of you are fans of teams that won't be, there's no playoffs in it. And that's okay. That's okay. You're allowed to jump on a bandwagon, temporarily. We'll get you your temporary Habs jerseys. You jump right on, you live the experience. And that's okay. Playoff hockey is here, the best time of the year.
I haven't decided who my Eastern Conference bandwagon team is yet. It would probably be Montreal. Yeah. But I also might get stuck in that trap of rooting for what I think is going to happen, which means probably a Carol. We'll see how the playoffs shake off, but I still think it'll be Carolina that emerges from the East, at least right now. See how that goes. But I will say this. I think we'll have a great first round of the playoffs. I think the last 2 weeks of the season here, I know we joke about the mediocrity of the Pacific and the wild card race out west, and how the East is deeper, and that last wild card spot's kind of like there'll be a lot of interesting hockey. There'll be a lot of close games. There'll be a lot of things on the line here in the next 2 weeks, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, there are games that we get to tune in that are early kind of playoff atmosphere games, and those ones are fun to watch, especially if you have no rooting interest. I have no rooting interest in some of those games, but I want to watch them so I can see two teams just kind of, bring the temperature up a little bit of nasty. I'm okay with that.
This is the time to get your research for the playoffs too, for those series, for the wagers to make there. Now you can catch some of Chris's other work at fantasyalarm.com/NHL. Slapshot podcast. What's going on there?
Well, listen, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they had decided that they wanted to fire Brad Treliving after I had posted about John Tortorella joining the Vegas Golden Knights. It was definitely a interesting time for them to make a coaching change, but listen, I dive into it. The Vegas Golden Knights are out here in typical Vegas fashion. They gamble, right? If you're a gambling man, you know that not every bet hits. And sometimes, the ones that don't hit, they sting a little bit. But Vegas is taking a gamble here, kind of talk about, John Tortorella's future. Like, is he here for a little bit, here for a good time, not a long time? Is there any chance that he comes back next year? Is this a good move? Is this a not good move? And who should we really be blaming, right? Is it Bruce Cassidy? Probably not. But that's the scapegoat. So you're going to have to listen so you can find out whose fault it really is. Spoiler alert, it might be somebody wearing pads.
I do love when big news comes down right after you finish posting and you got all typed up, your title, your description.
I can't tell you how many times I've had the whole show ready, done. And then just teams on a random Monday, they're just hey man, want to fire your coach, bring in John Tortorella? And I'm like, thanks, man. I didn't have anything else to do.
I did that 24 hours ago. Thanks. Also, Rip and Riff for myself and at Mr. Jared Moore. We talk hockey and rip packs over there. Also, you can catch my picks for Wednesday's slate over on VSiN Sirius XM channel 158. Wednesdays, 1:45 a.m. Eastern, or if you're on the West Coast, 10:45 Pacific. Dustin Sweetelson, the host there, brings me on to make some hockey picks every Tuesday night. Some early for the Wednesday slate, so make sure you check that out.
First of all, for Rip and Riff, you're just going to glide over this, but you had a fantastic pull of a card.
Oh yeah, that's true. It is.
You're just gliding over it like it doesn't mean anything.
I think I put it somewhere safe, or
somewhere safe. No. Well, I hope so. Look at that little bad boy there.
There we go.
Look at that. He's just randomly pulling a young gun of a Shafe Daddy. Again, just fantastic.
So the hobby box I pulled this out of the day that Series 2 came out for Upper Deck. And I got held up and I didn't get to the store right when I wanted to. They had one last box on the shelf. And the guy even said, he's like, I've been blowing through my supply today. He's like, I think I got one more box in the back and that's it. And I'm like, well, timing's everything. Got to shave that in. I still got more packs. So who knows? I haven't ripped the whole thing yet. See, make sure you check that out. Rip and Riff, that comes out on Mondays. But that does it. Total Hockey Now this week. We're at Fuzzy Chris 91. I am at Puppet Thoughts. Adam Bernard. We'll be back at you next week for the 14-game slate. Wrap up the penultimate week of the NHL season. Back at you then. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, follow, all that great stuff. Talk to you next week.